I mentioned in a recent video how I've tried to be friends with men to understand them, prove that men and women can be friends for whatever godforsaken reason. I've made podcast episodes about it. I've made videos about it. I just feel like there's no point in being friends with men. And I don't mean like to know men, be associated with men, but for women, you cannot hold a friendship with a man to the same standard that you do a woman. And maybe that seems obvious, but when you're actually in it, you don't realize that you might be doing that and how it might be setting you up for failure or for being taken advantage of. Sure, there are exceptions, but I'm not talking about exceptions, okay? You don't want to live your life thinking you're going to be the exception. You want to live by the rule. If the exception manifests itself, great. If it doesn't, don't try and force it. Because men do not approach relationships thinking about what they can give. They only think about what they can get, and what they can give is relative to what they can get. Women don't always think that way. That's why so much of my content is about centering your own interests, prioritizing yourself. This is like a new concept to most women. You need to be deconditioned out of the habit of just giving because you can, without thinking about what you are receiving in return and if it's worth it, okay? If it's in service of your best interests, or if you are foregoing your best interests in service of somebody else's. Because this is the way that society has operated for, centuries, exploiting this part of the female psyche, most men do not question how they approach you. They are going to think about what they can get from you. Access to your body is at the forefront, and then everything else comes secondary to that. And unless you set the boundary, there won't be one for them, okay? So my point is, enjoy men and the perks that you get being associated with them. Recognize that outside of a business context, and even in a business context, they come for you and they pursue you because they're attracted to you, whether that's on a subconscious level or a conscious level. Doesn't make them good or bad people, that just makes them men. If a man is not attracted to you and still hangs around you, most of the time he's getting something out of that interaction. You are giving him something and he gets some kind of benefit. You need to think about whether you're getting anything from them. If he's not attracted to you, it means you're probably not, okay? It means that if he had to choose between you and the boys, he's going to pick the boys every time. If he's going to pick between you and a girl that he's actually attracted to you, he's going to pick that girl. I've seen girls that are friends with men that are so generally disrespectful to women. And I've been in that position before where you feel like maybe you're the exception. Maybe he is seeing you differently, or you are like a positive influence in his life and he's going to treat women better. Not even necessarily because you are attracted to him, but just because you want to believe that men are capable of self-awareness and self-improvement. But that's really not your responsibility, okay? And those women do favors for those men, go out of their way for those men in ways that those men do not reciprocate. And I hate to see it, okay? So a healthy distance is always required when you are dealing with men in general, especially if you are above average anything as a woman. Make sure that your relationships with them are mutually beneficial. Do not forego your own needs, priorities, dreams, goals, finances, beauty, health, anything for the benefit of a man if he is not doing anything to materially benefit you. Any man that is offended by that can get fucked, because what makes you think a woman's existence is just to serve you at her own expense? A decent man is going to be happy to make a contribution to your life in exchange for the contribution you make to theirs. Building self-trust within yourself, letting go of relationships where it's just about you giving for nothing in return is really important. Learning to be okay with being alone as you transition out of those relationships and create space for healthier ones is so important too. Nurture your relationships with women, nurture your relationship with yourself and your inner child, and just manage the relationships you have with men.
Do not go over and beyond for men. Don't do that. You become the girl that literally becomes the doormat. And men, on a subconscious level, they do this to women who give them their all. And then they give you that, oh wow, we were not conscious of it. Dude, you're not stupid. Don't pretend to be stupid. You and I know both that you're not stupid. Stupid is not in your vocabulary, okay? You do the things you do because you want to get away with it to the extent that you believe that you can get away with it, okay? You want to see my reaction to the things that you do. And the only time people are often sorry, especially men, is because you cut them out on their behavior and you're calling them out. Not necessarily because they're sorry because they are doing it to you. They're doing it to you because they have the freedom of doing it to you because you've given them the freedom of them doing the things that they do to you. I'm also very low when it comes to men being my friends. I don't do friendship with men unless it's beneficial to me, you know. I don't want that because I realize that sometimes certain men who friend group you or they're okay with being friend grouped, they take from women their ideas, their plans, and all of that. They benefit from the labor of men. And oftentimes they learn how to master, manipulate the feelings and thought patterns of women if they engage with other women. If they engage with other women, okay? They don't become like other men, the macho men when they become more conscious of their behavior and then like they believe that they don't need an input of a woman. No. These one become master manipulators in a way of they learn from other women because they interact with women, they talk to women, they make you believe that they're different from the other men's. Those ones are deadly. The friends who become, because they make you also think that you are also different because you are now putting them in your cycle. I've been in such friends group. I've been in such, okay, where they would be like, they are accommodating, they understand the plight of a woman, they understand the thought patterns of a woman and the struggles of being a black woman, especially being a black woman in this society. They would be with you and stand with you and talk to you, but they are the worst kind of men, worse than those men who are openly misogynistic and all those things in between. They are worse because they've learned, they've studied, they've integrated. And then now we've given them the pull and you don't see them because why? They're so close to you. So this is why, again, I also do not want men to be friends with me because they benefit, okay? It's either we know each other, we are colleagues, or we're not. You being my friend is either that, and even at that, they want you, okay? They want to sleep with you, okay? He wants to sleep. He hopes that he has a friend, he has a closer line. And men can be very petty as well. When you keep on rejecting him, his ego is bruised. He will keep on coming to you as a friend. So I'm very cautious with such thing, with such man behaving in such a manner. I do not want a man to be my friend. And that is just me. Like, I do not want. I'm okay.
Men do not approach relationships thinking about what they can give. Bingo. Yeah, and I don't think that you need to make a moral distinction about whether someone is a good or a bad person because they approach relationships from a very self-centered point of view. I think my message to women would just be that be mindful of this fact, okay? You are being conditioned from a young age to always consider other people's interests and how you can make sure that other people's needs are being met. So it's easy for you to assume that because someone is approaching you, there is some kind of benefit to you as a result of reciprocating or being considerate of what they want. Because as a woman, you're conditioned to think that what you can give to others determines your value, which is not true, okay? It's part of it, but it is being overemphasized when it comes to the way that women are being conditioned. And that's why we have so many situations where women give and give and give in relationships and it's not being reciprocated, but they don't understand why. They're drained and depleted and they can't let go because they feel that if they don't give, then they have no purpose, okay? Or they have no identity, they have no value. The way that men think is like, okay, if I am interested in this person, it is by default interesting to them. They can't question this idea that that other person might have interests that exist outside of what he is considering or that don't overlap at all with what he's considered. Because when your point of view is so self-centered, anything that's beyond that doesn't exist, okay? What your needs as a woman might be don't exist in this very limited POV that a man has. One example in my life is like, I'm on the internet, I post about my life, my thoughts, memes, etc. Every week, multiple men message me. I'm going to come to Shanghai. When are you going to come to insert the name of their city? If I still was like very much under the grips of like some kind of pick me mindset, I might think like, oh my God, like he wants to see me, blah, blah, blah. What an honor. But I'm not. So I just think, so what? I don't care. Who are you? You are just one of many people that follows my content. My content is just 1% of my personality. I don't speak to you on a regular basis. I don't know anything about you. I probably don't even follow you because I don't follow men in general that I don't know personally. And it's literally like often random men that will tell me they're in Shanghai, they want recommendations, we should hang out. I'm like, why would I hang out with you? I have my own life. I have my own friends. I have my own schedule. They are literally so delusional, drunk off their own self-importance and self-interest to assume that I'm just going to drop everything and make time for them. Or I've just been sitting here waiting for them to be their free tour guide. And it's funny because I also get messages from women. Maybe we're mutually following each other. Maybe we have met in person, or maybe we've talked about wanting to meet in person before. They will tell me in April they're coming in June. The dates that they're coming, is there any like possibility that I'm free then? They would love to meet up. Let's get coffee, lunch, dinner. Do I want or need anything from the place that they're coming from? They're already thinking about my interests while also thinking about their interests. Very demure, very mindful. I can't say that I've had many men do the same. Especially when it's like, when are you going to come to insert my city? It's like, give me a good reason to go there. I've literally replied to guys that have said that and been like, who's going to book my ticket? Are you going to put your money where your mouth is, or are you just going to complicate the air with your nonsense?